Alright, let's talk forged wheels. You've probably seen them on high-end builds or heard about how they are the ultimate upgrade for performance for your vehicle. But are they really worth it, or is it all just marketing hype? Well, today we're going to be breaking down the pros, the cons, and everything you need to know before deciding if forged wheels are right for your car. Now, first and foremost is going to be strength. Forged wheels are made by taking a block of aluminum, hammering it, forcing it, pressuring, whatever, under extreme heat and pressure to change the grain structure of the metal, making it way stronger than your typical cast wheel. So if you're someone who, hits the track, drives aggressively, needs that strength, if you, are a going off track enthusiast, they might be good for you. Strength is cool, but what's even cooler than that is that forged wheels are lighter while being stronger. Now, less weight does mean less unsprung mass, which improves everything from acceleration to braking to handling, and you're definitely going to feel the difference from a lighter set of wheels, especially if you're pushing your car to its absolute limit on track. Now, third, we're going to talk about the cool factor, and let's be real, rocking a set of forged wheels is like having the ultimate bragging rights with your boys. Whether you're showing off at a car meet, just cruising around town, parked up at a gas station, a nice set of forged wheels really makes a statement that you care about your car. And, of course, we have to talk performance, which we kind of talked about with weight, but with less weight and more strength, your car's handling, its responsiveness, its overall driving dynamic, for lack of a better term, is going to improve. It's not just about your wheels looking good on your car, but they can literally make your car faster, and isn't that the goal? However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let's talk about some downsides. The biggest catch being that they are expensive. We're talking thousands of dollars just to get your foot in the door for an entry-level set. If you've got a $20,000 daily driver like a Honda Civic, throwing a $5,000 set of wheels on it, it just doesn't make any sense. But if you're driving something a little bit higher end, Supra, Porsche, stuff like that, they are a worthwhile investment. Generally keep your wheels by 10% of the purchase price of your car. They are also overkill for most daily drivers. If you're just commuting, going to work, maybe, hitting the canyon on the weekend, normal street wear and tear, stuff like that, you're really just not going to notice the benefits of a nice set of forged wheels like you would if you go to the track regularly. Now, another thing to consider that most people won't tell you, especially with ultralight forged wheels like TE37s, is that the inner barrels that are super thin can be more prone to cracking if you're using stretched tires or hitting really rough roads. They're built for performance, not for surviving pothole-ridden streets. So you have to bear that in mind. If you want to break expensive wheels, it's your prerogative. If you damage a forged wheel, it's also not as easy as ordering a new one off the shelf. Many of them are custom made to order and can't be sold individually. It's like a special order for an individual, so it's a long and expensive process. Now, kind of tied into that, they're a thief's wet dream. High-value forged wheels can make your car a target. So unless you're parked in your garage all the time, that's something to keep in mind. If you street park your car with forged wheels, well, that's going to be a problem for you. Now, some kind of middle-range considerations here. Well, not all forged wheels are the same. They come in different styles: monoblock, two-piece, and three-piece. Monoblock forged wheels are one solid piece of aluminum like the TE37, making them the lightest and strongest option. Two-piece and three-piece wheels do offer more customization, but they are heavier than a monoblock wheel and can be a little bit more finicky in terms of leaking seals and stuff like that. Now, second, the quality varies, and just because the wheel's forged doesn't make it automatically the best. The quality of the base aluminum that's used, the precision of the forging process, the machining processes, and the engineering behind the design all play a huge role in how good your forged wheel actually is. A cheap forged wheel might not be any better than a good cast or flow-formed wheel. Another consideration here is that engineering is simply key on these wheels. There's brands out there like Work Wheels that offer affordable forged options without sacrificing product quality. Meanwhile, some high-end brands charge insane prices, and they're not always justified. Just because a brand is expensive, just because their wheels are forged, doesn't mean that they're making the best wheels. You have to look at how the wheels are designed, how they're engineered, and how they're tested to see if they make sense for you. There's a ton of forged wheel brands, like an absolute ton. And just to give you an idea, I'm going to touch on one from each market segment to give you an idea of who they are, what they do, and how they differ from each other. So first up, HRE wheels. Now these are for exotic and luxury cars. They're basically the Ferrari of forged wheels. They're premium, they're hand-built, they're bespoke, and they're insanely customizable. You're going to see these on supercars and exotics and some high-end, pickup trucks and stuff like that for good reason. They're incredibly light, they're incredibly strong, and the price tag reflects that, over $10,000 for average sets. HRE is the gold standard for American-made forged wheels, and while they are not the absolute lightest on the market, they're very, very well designed, very well engineered, and they're very well manufactured. Next up, we're going to talk about Work Wheels. These are for like the JDM Sport Compact and Tuner market. market. They're on the more affordable side, and they are Japanese-made wheels, which is a huge plus. They're not as expensive as HRE, not by a long shot, typically coming in a quarter of the price of a comparable set. They are still high-quality, high-end forged wheels with great engineering behind them. You're going to see them on a lot of JDM builds, but they're also popular in the European car scene. However, Work does use a cast wheel center instead of forged, so if that's a consideration for you, you might want to move to something that's an all-forged wheel. Work is one of our top-selling wheel brands, and if you're looking for a set, you can click the link down in the description and get yours today. Next, we're talking about Forgeline. These are track-focused muscle car wheels. They're another high-end option often seen on Vettes and Camaros and stuff like that are seeing the road course. They're often a go-to for motorsport applications, and if you're hitting the track regularly, you've certainly heard of Forgeline. They're American-made wheels again. They're super high quality, very attentive to detail, and well engineered. While expensive, they are exactly what you need for hitting the track. Now, BBS, which I'm sure you've heard of, basically Style Point's European wheels. They've been around forever. They're famous for their forged design, specifically the RS and the LM. They offer some pre-made forged options that are basically on the shelf and ready to go and are reasonably affordable compared to full custom sets of wheels, and they're a great balance of performance and value in those sets. Now, they also offer some super high-end stuff, and so BBS wheels can run you from anywhere about $4,000 up to a little north of $10,000. They're an OG in the forged wheel game, and they're a name that you can trust. Now, we're talking about Bellic Industries or Bellic wheels, and these are just like the super baller drag wheels. They're a relatively new brand, and they make some of the coolest drag racing wheels on the market. They are focused on one thing and one thing only: 13, 20 quarter mile going straight, going fast, or I guess it's 60 to 130 now, depending on what you guys do. Point being, they cost a pretty penny. They're very expensive compared to some of their competitors, but they are super lightweight, and they have all kinds of cool revolutionary beadlock, billet lip technology, stuff like that going on that a mere mortal like me cannot understand. They will set you back an absolutely staggering amount of money. You can price them out on our website, so just bear that in mind, and if they're not in your price range, pick up some Welds or Forge Stars. Now, American Force, these are forged truck wheels, and if you've got a diesel truck, you probably shopped for a set of Forces before. They're OGs in the forged truck wheel game, and they make some seriously cool styles at prices that really aren't too far out of this world. Forged wheels on trucks are a little different from cars. They're really just all for style points. They're not necessarily helping performance in any measurable way, but Forces are just sick, and we're here for that. So, when do forged wheels make sense, or when should you go for them on your build? Well, if you've got a high performance car, if you've got something, 60, 70, 80 grand or higher, then forged wheels make a lot of sense for you. You're going to notice the performance gains, and they're strong enough to handle whatever you are doing with the car on track. But if you're daily driving a Honda Civic, if you're daily driving an Accord, they're just overkill, to be honest with you.
I still love you.
Flow-formed or cast wheels are often a better choice at a much lower price point if you're looking for a cool set of wheels that don't necessarily break the bank. Now, something interesting here, even some OEMs know the benefits of forged wheels. Manufacturers like Porsche, BMW for their M cars, and even Chevy with some of their high-performance Vette trim levels like the ZR1 often offer forged wheels as factory options. These brands know that on these cars, they have to run forged wheels to handle the extreme stress of high-performance driving, which is why they're often seen on those high-end track-oriented models like the GT3 or the ZR1 or, something similar to that. So, are forged wheels really worth it for you? Well, the short answer is yes, they're absolutely worth it if you need them. For track junkies, for performance enthusiasts who demand the absolute best, for people who are trying to squeeze out 10/10ths out of their car, forged wheels are an absolute game changer. They offer unmatched strength, they're super light, and the performance gains are measurable. But if you have an average daily driver that maybe hit the canyons with on the weekend, they're certainly overkill for you. Unless you're pushing your car to its absolute limit, you're going to be better off with a quality set of flow-formed wheels or cast wheels, which can still be super light and relatively strong. In the end, it all depends on what you're driving, how you're driving it, and what you're willing to spend. If forged wheels are in your budget, they're always the objectively better option, but if you're just looking to upgrade the style of your car, there are plenty of other ways to do that that aren't going to require you to go into crippling debt to do so. Whether you want forged wheels or cast wheels, flow form, truck wheels, car wheels, heck, we've even got golf cart wheels apparently on the website. Head on over to threepiece.us in the description down below. Pick up your set today. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, hit the like button, drop a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button. One day I will figure out if subscribe is over here or over here, and I will see you in the next video.